Hey guys, Big Red 310s here again. Been a while since I've been on the camera. I'm here to talk about several things. Three in particular. A new video series that I want to have, that I want to do every week. My Q&A, which I'm way late on, and fantasy football. I'm going to get to fantasy football first because that's the most important. For those who do not know, I do a YouTube fantasy football league every year. I've done it 2 or 3 times already. We always have a lot of fun with it. We were originally on ESPN, which is a terrible place to run fantasy football. Sorry, Phil, but it is. Then I moved the league to Yahoo because Yahoo is just so much of a better place to run fantasy football. All my other leagues are on Yahoo, so it's also a lot easier for me. And I just thought, that'd be a good place to do it via Yahoo. And this year, my summer's been very complicated, as all of you all know. I'm trying to get the league organized, but it's been very hard. So now I'm going to make the announcement via video. The league is already up and running. I think we only have 8 or 9 guys already signed in. We need 16. And this year, I upped it to 18. There are 2 extra spots because I know a lot of people want to join. However, I'm very hesitant about going all the way with 18 because for 18, the same amount of teams go to the playoffs. It's just the league's just harder. The draft is like bare bones. So 16 is already enough. So if I don't get the interest for 18, I'm not going to do it. So if you want to join the Fantasy Football League, because I do have 2 open spots as of now, please tell me in the comment section. But please, 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 you have to be a fantasy football fan. You don't know how many people I have, not just in this league, but in other leagues I'm in, where they say, I'm a big football fan. Let me try fantasy football out. And they play it and they never check their team. You have to check your team every week, several times a week, like I do. Like diehards like me do every week, several times a week. If you're not going to check your team, if you're going to keep playing guys who are injured, keep playing guys who are on bye week, I don't want you in my league. Don't even bother if you're not going to check it because it's no fun. It's no fun to play against someone who doesn't care. And if you're just a football fan and you want to be in it because I'm Big Rad and you want to be in the YouTube league that I created, don't, all right? Please, save me the time, save me the trouble, don't. Only if you've played fantasy football before. I know there's one guy who hasn't played before, but he's asked me, hey, I've never played before, but I'm really going to get into it this year. I'm already in several leagues. I promise I'm concerned. I'm full throttle going to go into it. I'm considering bringing him into the league. So please, please, if you do not play regularly and you will not check your team, do not waste my time. Now, for everyone else that is a member of the league, if you were in the member of the league the past 2 years, you are invited to come back. Sign in. I emailed you. I have all your email addresses from the league last year, and I sent invites to all those emails. If you changed your email address or it's not the email address you want to use for the league, tell me. Give me a personal message. You guys know who you are. I shouldn't have to reach out and find you. Tell me, my email changed. This is my new email. I'll say, okay, boom. I send the new email out. Please tell me, because by Tuesday, August 30th, if you have not sent me your new email, I'm kicking you out and I'm giving your spot to someone else. All right? Because the draft right now is Wednesday. And it's a very bad day already, so I'm trying to do my best to accommodate everyone, but it's just been a little rough, all right? So there you go. All those who are interested, who haven't played before, tell me there. But like I said, you have to have played fantasy football before. Do not waste my time if you're not going to check your team. For those who've been a part of the league and they just haven't said anything, please personal message me your new email address. Or if it's the same email address, sign in, okay? Because the league's just there. And I'm going to count how many people I have in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Including myself, in a 16-team league. So 9 of you, sign in now. You don't sign in by Tuesday, I'm giving your spot to someone else. Okay? We good? Moving on. The video content I'll do after. I'll do this Q&A. I am late on this Q&A. Really late. I made the video like 2 months ago. That's why a lot of my questions I had to cut. There was at least 50% of my questions were related to CM Punk. And I'm like, ugh. Can't answer them. There's this one guy. What's his name? Lion Tamer Undisputed, who sent me like 10 comments with a million freaking questions. I kept the good ones. There were some in there that weren't really questions. They were sort of like yes or no answers, and I don't like questions like that. Well, I have some yes or no answers, but more thought to them. And so I kept some of the really good ones. I'm just gonna go in chronological order. I think that's fair from those who typed the comments first. I'm going to read your questions. I'm going to see how much I get done by 24 minutes on this video. I'll see how much I get done. If I answer all the questions, great. If I don't, I'm sorry, but I'm not going to rush it. I want to take my time and see what I can do. First question is from kronanxx. What ROH DVDs do you recommend for someone to get into ROH? Great video. Congrats on the partnership. Thank you. I have a list on my channel. I'm sorry. It's just I get so many personal messages asking me, what are your top 10 Ring of Honor DVDs? And on my channel, I have a section that says top 10 Ring of Honor DVDs. But as far as to getting into Ring of Honor, I agree with TrueSlayer on this. You should stick to the new stuff, and that is my fucking phone, which I don't even know where it is. I'm not even going to edit that. Unless they call back, then I'd have to edit it. Alright, so what ROH DVDs do you recommend for someone to get into a partnership? Just check my channel. You know, I have some good stuff there. As for right now, the current storylines that you want to follow, get Final Battle 2010 and get Best in the World. And not just because those two have Kevin Steen. Those two, in my opinion, are the two kind of ones that will set you for the future for Ring of Honor. The next 3 questions are from the Heart of Darkness 27. How would you build to Eddie versus Davey at Final Battle if it happens, and how would you switch back to Eddie if possible? Basically what they're doing now, I think Eddie does have to turn heel in the current storyline. Not that I'm necessarily looking forward to it. Historically, guys have shown more personality and charisma as heels, but Roderick Strong was one of the few exceptions. Like Ted DiBiase too, he was the same. So what I really like is have Eddie turn heel. I'm not looking forward to it, but that's what the storyline's looking like based off what they did at the Charlotte show. But if you don't have to turn Eddie heel though, I'm just saying that's what normal booking would suggest. Would I do an Eddie heel turn? I don't know. Would I give the belt back to Eddie? Not now. If Eddie's gonna get the belt, it has to be at least several months from now, a lot of months from now. It can't just be a Final Battle, because then Davey's title reign will felt pointless. That's one of the main reasons I didn't want Eddie to win the title, and I wasn't happy when it happened, because it's like, well, we all know Eddie's gonna lose the title to Davey, and then what? When everyone, like, the storyline of their feud was, you know, people always said Davey was amazing, but they weren't giving Eddie enough credit, and in the end, Davey beat him. So in the end, we were right. Like, I just hated that concept of it. Eddie would be putting over Davey. It shouldn't be like that. It should be the other way around. So if Davey's gonna lose the title, it should be back to Eddie, but it should not be for some while, because then this whole Eddie Davey title switch over this year would have been pointless. How would I book it? I don't know. You go by it. When do you think Chikara will start using more Dragon Gate talent in the future? King of Trios usually. Will they use more throughout the year? I'm not sure. I know they're bringing back the Osaka Pro guys, but I don't think the Dragon Gate guys are on their calendar, because I would like to see Shingo versus Mike Quackenbush. I would love to see that. Finally, what do you think is Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly's best match? Personally, to me, it's their WXW match from 16 Karat Gold Tournament Day 3. I have not seen that match yet. I've heard great things. As far as their best match in Ring of Honor, I really, really, really love their match with All Night Express from Final Battle. But I will say the Kings of Wrestling match was a bit better. Even though I really like that All Night Express match, that Kings of Wrestling match was probably their best match. The next question is from the Hitman 250. How many DVDs do you own? If you could have one DVD made from any company, what would it be and why? How many DVDs do I own? I don't know. Good Lord. I mean, I've been getting DVDs since I was 8. Do you think I really know? I don't know. If you could have one DVD made from any company, what would it be and why? I don't understand that. One DVD made from any company, like a compilation DVD or a feature that the WWE does. I don't know. I don't really understand that question. But I guess a compilation DVD, I don't know, maybe WWE could release a 6th Best of Rey Mysterio DVD. There's not many guys in there that don't already have their own DVDs. The history of, they've already done so many of those. The best wrestling matches from the 1990s, there you go, that's just something I kind of pulled out of my ass. John the Jaws. 1. Who do you believe should win Chikara's 12 Large Summit? Who do I think should win? I think it should be Eddie Kingston, but as far as what they're gonna do, I said months ago that Eddie Claudio don't necessarily need to win the title. They could have their feud outside of the title. But if you take them out of the tournament, then Sarah Del Rey has to win. Like, has to. There's no one else. She's the one that's been pushed a lot. So, but who I want to win, Kingston. But who I think's gonna win, either Kingston or Del Rey. Del Rey is really making me think that they might actually give her the belt. Especially with Joshi Mania coming, the show after that. When people think of Ring of Honor, who do you think we should think of, just like in WWE TNA, is John Cena and AJ Styles, respectively? Well, Ring of Honor all time, I think it should be Bryan Danielson. But as for right now, it has to be Davey Richards. He's the champion. But even when Eddie was champion, I would have told you Davey Richards. Which is, again, another reason why I didn't want Eddie to win the title. Would you rather see Cena Rock or Punk Austin at Mania? Cena Rock. I would rather see Punk Triple H more than Punk Austin if the storyline is right. Because Punk Austin, for me, does Punk no favors. Unless they turn Austin heel, which I don't think they will, really, the fans would love Austin more. And even if Punk pins him, it's like, oh, you pinned our hero in his comeback match. Punk Austin, in my opinion, does Punk almost no favors. So, we care about Punk. Yeah, I think the Punk Triple H match is more important. Well, then again, if Triple H buries Punk, that's even worse. But still. Next, you get the multitude of questions from Lion Tamer Undisputed. But a lot of these I really liked, so I'm going to answer them. What's your favorite Puro promotion? Noah. Given the recent report of morale being very low in TNA, How long will it be before Hulk Hogan, Eric Bischoff, or Russo is finally fired and wrestlers like Styles and Joe start to lead the promotion for greener pastures? Joe's leaving TNA as soon as his contract runs up. He's been talking about going to WWE. Austin even promoted him on his Twitter. I do not, and even if that with the ROH TV show, I mean they got a lot more money than I thought they would. If you look at the sales on their website for Ring of Honor, about a year ago they used to have the sales every day, like 40% off, 35% off. And as a fan, you were like, great, but when you looked at it again, you were like, well, that kind of means they're kind of low on money. Right now, it is so. Why do you think I haven't done a Ring of Honor review of Best in the World or No Escape or Tag Team Turmoil? There have not been any sales that have been favorable for the current shows. The most recent one's the closest. It's the combo set, which I bought two sets of. I still haven't bought Best in the World yet. Like really, they really are not running that many sales anymore. Part of that is because they have a lot more money. Could they afford Joe? I don't know, but I do think Joe will go to WWE. I don't think Styles will ever leave TNA ever until it dies. He made that promotion. I don't think he will ever leave that company. How long before Hogan and Bischoff leaves? You know, when they have a history of when the ship is sailing, they get out before they sink with it, so we'll see. What do you think of Austin Aries using the greatest man there ever lived gimmick on Impact? It's great. It's not as good as Ring of Honor as it was in Ring of Honor, but it's still great. Do you think Dustin Rounds was held back by the amount of scarring his body had? He always seemed a very underrated and underutilized talent. Held back because of that? I wouldn't really say that. I just say that they were never really that high on him. I mean, he sold the Goldust gimmick very well, and he did very well in his early WCW days. But as far as like he was held back because of scarring, I don't know if I'd go that far. Looking at the PWI most overrated, and for 2001 it was Undertaker. Was it because of the whole respect thing? A lot of people just didn't like Biker Undertaker. They thought it was very different from the Taker that made Undertaker, the Undertaker character, and they just resented it a little bit. I started watching wrestling when he was the Biker Taker, and I liked the gimmick a lot. But most people disagree. Which heel would have the most success as a face? Jack Swagger, ADR, Dolph Ziggler, Cody, Ted, Sheamus, or Wade? I'd say Sheamus, and he's proven it. I've always thought that Sheamus should have been face. Jack Swagger too. I think they can both pull it off. Because I think when you're a heel, for a heel you need to have my skills is much more important as a face. Maybe not in the sense that in a heel it's very easy to get the crowd to hate you, but as a face it's a lot harder. So you need the good promo ability. But I do think as a heel, and WWE especially, you really need to be a good promo. And then Jack really isn't that good. He has great charisma, but he really isn't that good. So Jack or Sheamus. But Sheamus has already proven it, so I'd say Jack. Do you think Shelton Benjamin will ever return to WWE? Maybe. Never say never. What was your thought on Stone Cold when he was heel and teamed up with Vince and sung songs? Do you think that was a wrong time? That was definitely a wrong time. That was part of the reason that the WWE business declined. That's considered one of the biggest mistakes in WWE history, turning Austin heel. They never recovered from that. They never recovered from that, ever. I mean, really, not until Cena came was their business even somewhat close. And even Cena wasn't even close to what Austin did. Would John Cena be where he is now if Brock Lesnar stayed in the WWE? Not in my opinion. I made this video like 2 years ago when I said that, in my opinion, if Brock Lesnar had stayed on, he would have been that guy. Would Cena have emerged as that guy as well? Maybe, but it would have been later. Because I thought if Brock stayed full-time, Brock was that guy for that period. Which face would have the most success as a heel? Ray, definitely not. Kofi, definitely not. Sin Cara, definitely not. Daniel Bryan, yes. Evan Bourne, no. Daniel Bryan, he's proven in Ring of Honor. All those other guys, I cannot see as a heel at all, and that would be a disaster in my opinion. How do you see WWE in 7 years from now? I really like this question. Once Cena and Orton are gone, who do you think will be the next guy? WWE 7 years from now, it really depends. If you told me that months ago, I would have said, you know what, it's not looking good. But the past few weeks, they've hired a lot of soap opera writers recently. For those who do not know, that is why Monday Night Raw, you have this urge to keep watching because it's built on a soap opera standard. So the storyline's easier to follow, and more people want to keep tuning into the shows. And right now they're doing a pretty good job. I mean, WWE is putting on a pretty good product right now. They have been ever since that Punk promo. Literally, that Punk promo started this whole upswing in product. And so, I don't know, 7 years from now, if they keep doing what they're doing, if they let Punk become the top face of the company eventually, who knows where they can be. Once Cena and Orton are gone, who do you think will be the next guy? I don't know, because once Cena and Orton are gone, Punk will be at the very end of his run as well. After Punk, I don't know, it really all depends. There really isn't anyone right now in the company, in the roster, that I could see really being that star. Even Daniel Bryan, and I'm a big Daniel Bryan fan. Daniel Bryan can't be the John Cena. The original ECW did a lot to put hardcore wrestling on the map, and in my eyes, did a lot to influence WWE's attitude era. Do you think that ROH emergence to mainstream wrestling could have a similar effect? Maybe. I don't really know how to answer that question. If Triple H didn't interest Quad, do you think he'd be on WCW ECW Alliance Invasion? during the invasion angle, considering Sheffield was in the alliance with Shane and Triple H was the biggest deal in the business. I don't know how they would have done it. If I would have booked it, I would have had Triple H play Kurt Angle's role, but Triple H and Austin switch. Triple H, because Austin is a face, they started bringing him back as a face that month, and then they just turned him back heel again. I would have had Triple H try to convince Austin to join the team. Please, Austin, join the team. They would have fought, and then eventually he would have convinced Austin to join the team, and then Triple H turns heel. And then you could have had the Austin Triple H stuff again. I think that would have worked because I think people really wanted to see Austin as face. If you notice, the day after the Alliance angle ended, Austin immediately was face. Like, immediately. He walked out onto Raw after the invasion angle, after Team WWF had won. He immediately just, boom, like that, face, because that's how badly the fans wanted him to be face, which is why he never should have turned heel. So yeah, I would have had Triple H turn and be in Kurt Angle's role. What can WWE do to make their titles mean something again? It's been a long time since the championship felt like a big deal. Probably going back to when Eddie and Bell won the title. I've said this before. The roster around the title needs to be good, and the roster around the title now is kind of shit. There's no competition for it. On Raw, you have Del Rio, Punk, and Cena, and everyone else is kind of a notch off below, especially with Rey. Everyone else is a mid-card guy. On SmackDown, it's even worse. You have Christian, Orton, and Henry, and everybody else is a mid-card guy, even Sheamus. And also the title reigns need to go a lot longer. I was really liking this. Is another question coming up. Orton's title reign, I thought, was bringing some prestige back, even though he wasn't really that much of a reign because he only feuded with one guy. But that belt needs to be held for a long period of time, and it hasn't been for a long, long time. Probably since... No. I'd say probably since, good lord, it's probably since Undertaker was champion from late 2009. And even that's kind of, I think that was only like a 4-month reign. Before that, oh my god, I really have to think about this. Jeff Hardy, no. Punk, no. Edge, no. Cena, no. No, god, wow. Edge, no. Cena, again, 4 months. Jericho, no. Batista, no. Jericho, no. Punk, no. Edge, no. Undertaker, no. Kind of. I mean, really, god, I really have to think back for that World Heavyweight title. I'm curious. I'm going to do this on camera. Do people know not to call me? Undertaker, no. Who was before Undertaker in 2008? It was Edge. Batista. No, the Great Khali. Good lord, man. This is terrible. This is how bad the title is. I'd say Batista when he won back the title. No, King Booker. Yeah. King Booker had like a 5-month reign. That's how bad it is. Eddie and Benoit is probably the better example. I probably would have gone all the way back to Chris Benoit. They just need to give themselves longer reigns, and they need to push the stars around the title. What is one major WWE talent, excluding Cena or Orton, that you believe could have actually had an impact between the two companies to ever signed them? Me and my friend Brian talk about this a lot. No one, not even Cena and Orton. The product is so diluted, and TNA makes so many of their stars meaningless. A lot of guys come in, and TNA gets you not to care. They did that with RVD. They did that with Jeff Hardy. They did that with Mr. Anderson. It's so easy for TNA to make them not to care that they do the same with those guys. I really don't think that they would have an upswing in business, even with John Cena, Orton, Triple H, Undertaker, none of them. What was the best No Way Out in your opinion? Mine's either Triple H, Cactus Jack, or Kurt Angle, Undertaker. That Kurt Angle, Undertaker match is one of my favorite matches of all time and the most underrated WWE match ever, in my opinion. What do you think the WWE could have done with the storyline of Vince McMahon being dead? I fucking hated that storyline. I hated it. What would have happened? I don't know. Mr. Anderson was the killer. That was the rumor. I don't know. Do you consider Orton to be the main talent burden in WWE's actual roster? I do, more so than Triple H. Orton never, ever puts over his talent. I don't really blame him, but he always seems to be the guy that kills people's momentum when they're hot. He did it when Christian won the title. He did it with Kofi Kingston. He killed Legacy. He always seems to be that guy that, I mean, he did put over Swagger, which no one else did. And I'm not saying Orton has influence. I mean, he does have a lot of power, but I'm not saying, like, it's not like Triple H burying guys where his goal was to bury them. I think Orton's kind of just doing what he's told, but still, he did help Swagger a little, but yeah, I do not. He does no wrestlers any favors. Eric Young versus Santino. Who's the better comedic wrestler? Santino. Who's the better overall talent? Eric. Jerichoholic 316. What is your opinion on Randy Orton's title reign? I liked it, but like I said, it's not really a title reign because he only feuded with one guy. In my opinion, that's not a true title reign when you only feud with one guy. But as far as holding the title for several months, it helped the title look good. But I don't hate him as champion on SmackDown. He's actually won a lot of fans over on SmackDown, especially with this documentary coming out, which I heard was incredible. Do you think... Okay, that's not a question. Do you think CM Punk will ever come back to WWE? Sorry. Again, this was months ago. Who do you think Davey Richards will lose the title to? Personally, I think El Generico would work. Two guys I think Davey Richards can lose the title to. One is Eddie Edwards, but like I said, that has to be a long time from now with a different storyline. The other guy, who I think should beat Davey for the title, and is the only guy in the Ring of Honor roster that can do it, Kevin Steen. He has to come back, be the Antichrist of Ring of Honor, somehow sneak his way into grabbing that title, continue to being the Antichrist. He's the only guy that can do it. In my opinion, there's no one else in the company, zero, that can win that title from Davey right now. Do you think Akira Tozawa can make it in the WWE? Most Japanese guys know. Dave Meltzer talked about this. When you're really over someplace else, and you think when you're in the WWE you're a star, they kind of resent you for it. But Tozawa is different because Tozawa has so much great personality and charisma, and he's a tremendous worker that I personally think that he would be in a different situation. Jeff Hardy next. Oh, that was the Dynamite Dragon, and the one before that was G-Man. Jeff Hardy next 30 Man 2. Have you heard of Off the Rope Show? Great shooters. I've never heard of it. Sorry. Do you think time for convoluted storylines is over? Less convoluted storylines because of MMA is the era of competition. People want guys in the ring have great matches, but the ass ring, do you think ROH become mainstream because of it? I didn't really understand that, but I understand what he's saying, when it's more about the in-ring quality and competition now. And yes, that is great, but you need characters in professional wrestling. I know LV went off on this, how you don't need characters for people to get over, and that's true. You don't need characters for a guy to get over. Daniel Bryan gets over on his work rate. He doesn't really get over on his character. And I agree, you don't necessarily need characters to get over because of your person. However, I think as a company, I think as a full company, you can't just go on work rate and expect to get over. Now, Ring of Honor isn't just work rate, which is the thing that people don't understand, which is, again, why I think Kevin Steen should be champion. After Davey, of course. I want Davey to have a good lengthy title reign. I don't think it will just work because you need that appeal to a mainstream audience, but I do agree in the level of MMA competition. But people realize is in MMA, a lot of people are getting into MMA not really because of the in-ring work. They're getting into MMA a lot because of the drama and the characters. So people don't realize. Why do you think everyone bought the last Anderson Silva fight, which I saw at Hooters with my friends? Why do you think people saw that show? Because Anderson Silva is the man. He's a freaking star. They love seeing him fight, even though some of the fights haven't been that impressive lately. And, he's unbeatable. They want to see, can someone beat Anderson Silva? Why do you think no one bought? No one. I mean, I bought it because I love both guys. But why do you think no one bought Frankie Edgar versus Gray Maynard back in January? Not just that it was New Year's Day, but that really no one really cared. What was the angle for Frankie Edgar? What did he have that was important? None. But if it was really about the ring work in MMA, that should have been one of the highest shows of the year because that was a title fight. When in reality, it was, I think, the second lowest UFC show this year. Or the lowest. So again, it's not really about that. It's about the characters. I mean, look at John Jones. I mean, I think his next fight will do really well. But when he won the title, the barrio was pretty good. But it wasn't like through the roof like Anderson Silva and GSP or Brock. Look, Brock, the most over guy in the company. He's not the champion. Wow, I finished at 22:40. I kind of lost my voice a little bit. That was my Q&A. Lions Tamer Undisputed came up with the majority of the questions, but I did think he had a lot of good questions. I think this one was there's one question here that I think was by Emerald Throsion. I think. All right, now my new concept. I'm pretty much stealing from Colt Cabana and Dave Lagana when I say this. I want to introduce a new interview series with guys here on YouTube. Guys here on YouTube, subscribers of mine, guys on Twitter that I follow, people like that. I want to get them to come on here, talk for like no more than 20 minutes, unless maybe for some exceptions here and there. I want them to talk about how they got into wrestling, how they got into YouTube, what they like about wrestling. I will have a set of questions that I will prepare. And some of the questions will say the same, some won't. And then I also want you guys to send me questions for this guy in particular, stuff you can want to know. Now, I will go over the questions myself. I don't like telling people the questions beforehand, but I will go over the question myself and I will say, you know what, maybe this question shouldn't be asked. Maybe it's something really personal that the guy doesn't want to say. I will personally take care of that. But I want to do this. I think it's going to be really fun. I don't know. I was really in the mood for it over the past few weeks. I've always wanted to do it, and I think I can make a good job out of it. A lot of the guys here on YouTube, I'll occasionally say, okay, for the guest this week, I want to pick a subscriber. I'll do like some sort of contest, and the subscriber can get on. He can talk about himself. There's people on Twitter that I follow that are really cool guys, but they're not here on YouTube. I have people on Skype that I talk to that are not on YouTube or not on Twitter. Multitude of things, just so we can kind of better understand the people we talk wrestling with. And I think it's a good idea. My first guess, sorry, I'm going to start off with a really bad guess. I'm kidding. The guy knows. My first guess is going to be Honor Hammer. I'm going to start either this week or next week. I don't know when I'm going to start. I'm going to think maybe if I get more questions. I'm going to start with him, and I'm going to do this, see if I can get guests every week. I'll ask people, hey, do you want to be on the show? Some people don't. Some people will. I'm going to ask someone to create a good theme song, because I remember back right before I got 1,000 subs, I got a lot of people saying, hey, if you ever get a partnership, I can make you the best theme song, or I can make you the best banner. I got tons of people telling me that. Well, here, want to make a theme song for the show? Do it. I mean, I have to approve of it, but do it. If you want, send it to me, personal message. We'll see how it is. So, yeah, Honor Hammer will be on next week, or the week after that, whenever I decide to start doing the show. And I'm going to keep the ball rolling from there. Maybe it'll be like Colt Cabana, where people always joke, Colt Cabana really never runs out of guests, does he? He doesn't. I want to get it to where I never run out of guests. I'll keep it for as long as I can. I don't think it can go on forever, but I think it can be something fun and new. So that was that. Fantasy football, for those who were in the league last year, you haven't signed in, you haven't signed in yet. You have till this Tuesday, midnight, before Wednesday morning, basically, or else you're axed. And anyone else who wants to join, put in the comments. But again, you have to be a real fantasy football fan. Do not waste my time if you're not going to take it seriously. All right? I kind of lost my voice a little bit, if you couldn't tell. I'm Big Red 310. As far as my Ring of Honor reviews, I'm really behind on my Ring of Honor. I haven't seen Best in the World. Well, I saw it, but not on DVD. And I haven't seen No Escape or Tag Team Turmoil yet. I bought those two in the combination package. All-Star Weekend, I still haven't seen yet. The Evolve 9, which I've ordered, but I still haven't seen it yet. And Dragon Gate USA, the Ultimate Gate, I might see that. I might see the TNA pay-per-view. We'll see what happens. Oh, I might actually do this WCW show. Might include that in as well. All right, so thank you very much for everything. I'm Big Rat 310. Hope you guys enjoyed this Q&A. And I'm out. See you. Oh, and send your questions for Honor Hammer. Send it to my personal message. No questions in the comment section. None. Because then the guys get to see the questions. Personal message to me. I will not accept any questions in the comment section. Personal message to me. If you want to ask Honor Hammer a question, just PM it to me. All right? I'm Big Rat 310. Bye, guys.